Hey everyone, it's Ashley. We've just wrapped up talking about the PS5 Slim, and I've got another hot topic for you. The PS5 Pro, that's right, it's not just a rumor anymore. But here's the big question. Are you planning to grab the Slim, or are you holding out for the Pro set to drop next year? Stick around because we're diving deep into everything about the PS5 Pro, from its jaw-dropping specs to its release date, and yes, a price point that might raise a few eyebrows. Let's get into it. First up, let's talk specs. The PS5 Pro would make even more sense as a form of stopgap between the PS5 and what we'll dub the PS6. That's because, in legal documents pertaining to the battle between Microsoft and the FTC over the former's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, IGN found that Microsoft doesn't expect a next-generation PlayStation or Xbox until 2028, so a mid-generation refresh would seem logical given the potential length of this current generation of game consoles. We expect the PS5 Pro will follow the lead of its precursor, the PS4 Pro. Essentially, this was a more powerful version of the base PS4 console. It packed the same DualShock 4 controller and library of games, but was capable of increased performance and targeted 4K resolution on select titles. It was a console designed for gamers who wanted that little bit of extra power to enjoy PlayStation gaming at its very best. The PS5 Pro would presumably do the same thing by building upon the foundations of the current PS5 with refreshed internal components and perhaps a visual redesign as well. But remember, it'll be an iteration of the existing PS5 hardware, not a full-fledged successor. This is not the PS6. As shared by Red Gaming Tech a few days ago, this new information shows impressive GPU upgrades, but the almost archaic Zen 2 CPU is only getting an improved clock speed. No update to the latest Zen 4 CPU standard, and no additional cores either. This could kill off the chances of us seeing the big benefits of those additional 24 compute units of graphical prowess. As tech heads will know, building a powerfully effective machine requires balance across all of its elements. The GPU has seen a near 2x improvement in total compute units. I fear the far more minor speed bump in the Zen 2 CPU, an architecture that has aged like severely spoilt milk, could very well bottleneck the GPU, which means you wouldn't be able to see its full potential anyway. Of course, until you hear an official announcement, take all of these leaks with a pinch of salt when it comes to rumored spec leaks like this. Plus, all these rumored specs give away is more GPU compute units and a higher CPU clock speed, so we can't be sure what other custom silicon is coming to the PS5 Pro that could address this problem. Right now, all we can do is cross our fingers that Sony has spotted this potential problem that could limit its rumored upgraded console's GPU's true capabilities. In one word, maybe, but I'm not sure it's something you'll see happen in this machine. Cast your mind back to February 2022, as Mark Cerny files a patent on behalf of Sony for a specially designed ray tracing unit, RTU. Think of it like the equivalent of the iPhone 15 Pro's dedicated neural engine on the A17 Pro, a separate set of cores dedicated to accelerating certain tasks. Only this time, it's to give accelerated ray tracing a proper turbo boost. The RTU in a PlayStation would run all the calculations for how light would realistically hit surfaces in a 3D environment, while the GPU deals with all the shaders and additional in-game detail. All of this can be performed asynchronously too, so each element can work separately from each other to achieve the common goal. Sounds great on paper, right? So why am I unsure? Put simply, you can't polish a turd. Ray tracing is still a very CPU-heavy task, and since it looks like we may be stuck with the Zen 2 architecture, the dream of hitting full-blown frame rates with ray tracing seems likely to be just that, a dream. When it comes to price, there is precious little out there to even give us an indication of how much we need to save up ahead of time. At release in 2016, the PS4 Pro cost $400. This was the same price the base PS4 had launched for 3 years earlier. Of course, 3 years into the PS4's lifecycle, the console had already received a price cut, which hasn't happened for the PS5. If the PS5 Pro was to follow the trend of the last generation, it would launch for $500. However, don't be surprised if the PS5 Pro is pitched at an even higher cost, maybe even $600. Sony proved with the PSVR 2, it's not afraid to charge a premium price for new hardware, so you might want to start saving those pennies as soon as possible, because the PS5 Pro could be one expensive console. What do you think? Are the specs enough to justify the price? Will you be getting one, or is the PS5 Slim more your style? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.